Hey guys, just want to give you an update. We're changing our format up. Previously, we've been doing two movies a week, so that's a theatrical release and then a recommendation, and we do one long episode every week. That seems to be kind of unwieldy and doesn't allow us to go as in depth as we want. So, the episode we recorded last week has been split into two, so what you're about to hear is our Oscars slash Skinamarink conversation, and then you're going to hear our Watchmen conversation next week. And then on February 14th, we're going to be talking about M. Night Shyamalan's A Knock at the Cabin. And then on February 21st, it's going to be my recommendation, which is a surprise for you guys. So yeah, stay tuned. Thank you for listening.
Welcome to the Stray Dog Film Lounge, with three stray dogs that bonded over our love of movies.
I'm Colin,
My name is Ross.
And I'm Ian.
and this week we are first going to be talking about the very important Oscar noms that just came out.
The Om Nom Noms.
Nom nom nom.
Nom,
I'm
nom, nom,
excited
nom.
to talk about it. It's going to be a very filling discussion, to say the least.
Yes. It was my idea. I insisted that we talk about the Oscars.
Yeah, Ross is the Oscar nerd. Like
Mhm.
I'm the George C. Scott of the group, bro. I detest award shows, and I don't want to look at any of them or
Yeah.
anything like that.
I'm just here for the shitty drama.
Yeah. I mean, Ian, what's your thoughts on the Oscars? Do you give a shit?
I give no fucks, but at the same time, it's really fun to watch a bunch of rich people, beat the shit out of each other, apparently, from last
Well,
year.
well, that's a new development.
Yeah.
I feel like for the past 5 or so years, every other year there's like something stupid happens. So
Mhm.
like first it was the La La Land's Moonlight debacle,
Oh, God.
right?
Yeah.
And then in 2020, remember how they like rearranged the categories so that way the best actor announcement would come at the ends, and everyone was like, "Oh, it's got to be Chadwick Boseman. It'll be a nice tribute." And then Anthony Hopkins won, but he didn't come up because he
He
was
wasn't
at
even
home
there.
sleeping. He was
Yeah.
at home sleeping because he's an old man. And so the show just kind of ended. And then the slap happened. And by the way, last year's Oscars were like the worst show ever. Slap aside, what a pathetic, completely out of touch, has no clue what its audience is like.
You see, I
program.
didn't watch the Oscars. I was doing homework, and then my phone just started blowing up, saying there's no way that was real. There's no way that that happened. That was staged.
You know what's really funny, though,
Yeah.
is that I literally turn on the TV because I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'll watch a little bit of it. Turn on the TV, it's Will Smith, and then all of a sudden, bang! And I'm like, what the hell just happened?
Because I was looking at my phone when the slap happens, kinda, so I wasn't entirely sure what the hell. I just saw Will Smith go up to the stage, and then like the sound cut out. I was like, "Wait, what the fuck just happened?"
Yeah.
And then I look up, and I just see angry Will Smith with the sound muted, and I'm it's just like, "What these like?" I can't imitate it because it's not a visual medium we're doing right now, but
It's so funny because it's not a memorable joke. The G.I. Jane joke is not even that good. And now Will Smith has made certain that everyone will remember it for the rest of the time.
All right, so what else
Anyway.
are we talking about? So we're talking about the nominations, and what else? We're watching.
and then we're gonna talk about Skinamarink,
Mm-hmm.
and then Ian's recommendation, which was
Watchmen.
Watchmen.
And I watched the 3.5 hour cut of it.
I watched the 3.5 hour cut too, because I am loyal to this podcast and I'm loyal to our fans.
I watched the theatrical cut, but I read the first 3.5 chapters of the graphic novel, because I hadn't read the book at all. So that's something. Anyway,
Absolutely.
we're talking about Oscar nominations.
All right.
Sorry, this is the most ADDS podcast. Okay, so nominees for actress in a supporting role: Angela Bassett for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, Hong Chow for The Whale, Carrie Condon for The Banshees of Inisherin, and then this one I got a little worried when they first announced Jamie Lee Curtis for Everything Everywhere All at Once, because I was like, she's good in that, but what about Stephanie Hugh, right? Why wasn't she nominated? And then the next one they announced was Stephanie, and I'm like, oh, good, because she's also in Everything Everywhere All at Once and has a much more significant supporting role.
Jamie Lee Curtis is just kind of funny in that movie. You know what I mean? I don't think she's really breaking any new ground with the performance.
I should mention Everything Everywhere All at Once has the most nominations this year, of 11 nominations. 11? Yes.
Damn.
Yeah.
Colin, are you a fan of the movie?
I'm a big fan of the movie. I think it's really breaking new ground. And I think it's the perfect movie for the digital age. Because we kind of live in a certain multiverse ourselves. With so many screens vying for our attention. It's like we live in multiple different universes all at the same time.
That is so deep of you to say. Our phones are like our multiverses.
Exactly. And I feel like that movie captures it perfectly. Also, some great Asian American representation, too.
For sure.
I really appreciate
I think
that.
it's a fun movie. I think it's very innovative. I think it's a good... whatever wins... Even the nomination, the fact that it has 11 nominations is like a big win for the little guy, because that's kind of how I feel about the Daniels, is like, they're just like us.
I still haven't seen it. Fun fact.
I feel like you would like it, Ian. It has a lot of... It's also like, much like this podcast, it's a very ADHD movie.
Okay.
So I think you'd like it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so do you guys have any predictions on who could win this Best Actress in a Supporting Role? Do you guys have any?
Yes, I do.
What?
I think it's going to be Carrie Condon in Banshees of Inisherin.
Okay, all right. I guess I'll also predict Carrie Condon. I liked her performance.
It was great.
But then
her performance really reminded me of my own sister.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? The dynamic felt so real.
Ian, do you have a take?
I don't think I've watched any of the movies that got nominated with that, so...
You're gonna skip?
I'm gonna skip that one.
All right, then. Okay. Costume design. Babylon. Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Elvis. Everything Everywhere All at Once. And Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris.
What?
Good for Miss Harris.
What the hell
Good
is that?
for Miss Harris. She's trying her best out here.
Elvis, definitely.
I'm gonna give it to Everything Everywhere.
Yeah, I kind of have to give it to Everything Everywhere, just because of the sheer amount.
Yes.
Of costumes.
And the sheer ingenuity of those costumes. Those aren't normal costumes you can pick up from Party City. Those are things that take a lot of time and effort to just imagine.
Yeah, and they all look good. Like, it's not just like a quantity over quality thing. Like, everything looks good in that movie.
Yeah.
You can tell, like, a lot of people put a lot of work into, like, the maximalism of Everything Everywhere All at Once. Ian, you're predicting Elvis?
Yeah, I'm predicting Elvis. I think for that movie, because what was it? Who directed that again?
Baz Luhrmann.
Yeah, his movies, because like Moulin Rouge, that and amazing costumes in it. I thought this really did a great job recreating a lot of Elvis's looks and just the time periods in there too. If I saw Everything Everywhere All at Once, I probably would say that, so maybe that'd be my second pick.
I mean, I think we're allowed to make predictions for movies we haven't seen, because I feel like with the Oscars, you can kind of cynically guess the type of movie these voters will enjoy.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
It's not an honest show. It's very political. I feel like there's a lot of backroom talk.
I don't think it's politics. I think it's just
campaigning for the most part.
It's campaigning, and also you got to factor in the tastes of like old people.
Green Book.
The Green Book.
If we go by the taste of old people, Everything Ever All at Once wins nothing.
Yeah, because it's such a frenetic movie. I was watching it with my sister, and we were both just like, Dad would hate this movie. Because it's just so fast.
Gotta go fast.
All right, let's move on to sound.
Slow down there, fella.
It's gonna be a long-ass podcast if we don't move along.
Yes.
Okay, for sound, All Quiet on the Western Front, a movie that I didn't know existed until, like, yesterday.
And a movie I didn't know existed until you brought it up.
Yeah. Like, oh, there was a remake of... All right, cool. Avatar, The Way of Water, The Batman, Elvis, and Top Gun Maverick. My prediction, Top Gun Maverick.
Top Gun Maverick.
And here's why. The loudest movie always wins best sound.
Yep.
That is a fact. Whatever movie is the loudest,
And also,
it's
Top
the.
Gun Maverick is a masterpiece.
It does. It
So,
does have great sound. I really felt like I was in the room.
Yeah.
You know, if you watched it in Dolby, like, damn.
yeah.
I want the Batman to win, but I'm predicting Top Gun. I think the Batman has the best sound design, but I think Maverick's gonna win.
Yeah, Batman's a close second for me.
The sound design is just so personal in that movie.
Mhm.
It's just so well structured. I love that film.
Original score: All Quiet on the Western Front, Babylon, Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and The Fablemans for score.
Hmm.
Usually, my pick is usually the movie with the score that I actually can remember. So that goes to Babylon because they really hammer in that da na 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 na. And then even like the big Trump one is bump 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 bump. But it's like, hey, it works. I remember it, and that's probably going to be the thinking of the Academy voters too.
That song is actually on my workout playlist. Like that's a good song to just get shit done to.
So that's my logic for predicting Babylon. Do you guys think
Uh,
different?
I mean, for me, again, I didn't see Babylon, but um, knowing what that movie's about, it's probably gonna win that for score. I wish, I wish like the Batman was because I thought that was a great fucking soundtrack.
Yeah, baby.
That's also a soundtrack that spams its main theme.
Rightfully so, though. It slaps.
With what Colin said before about the sound design, how it was so personal, like every single theme in that movie is so personal to every one of the characters.
Dude,
Yeah.
Catwoman's theme? Catwoman's theme is
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know,
Yeah.
again, it's like the Batman's theme for Batman. It's so simple, but it just feels like it feels like the Batman.
So that's a big snub for you, is the Batman not getting a score
Yeah,
nom?
so
Yes.
I'll say
Gotcha.
for a prediction, it'll be Babylon, but Batman got snubbed.
Well, what about the Fablemans though? Like, it's John Williams.
Yeah, but I don't remember it at all.
This might be like his last score ever, because he could die tomorrow. You know, like they should give it to him.
I don't remember
Yeah.
how it sounds, but I remember being very moved when I was watching it.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's effective. It
Yeah.
works. But it's John Williams. Okay, I lost my list. Sorry.
So we're at
Sorry,
score.
folks. Okay, I'm going back to I'm trying to do it in the order they were announced in. Adapted screenplay: All Quiet on the Western Front, Glass Onion, A Knives Out Mystery, Living, Top Gun Maverick, and Women Talking.
Top Gun.
What's this for again?
Adapted screenplay.
Huh. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Maverick.
That literally could have been the dumbest movie ever
I'm
for a
gonna,
sequel
you know
to
what?
Top Gun. But
Yeah.
instead, it's a fucking masterpiece.
Oh, it is structurally great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be cynical, and even though I haven't yet seen Women Talking, and I do plan to see it, I'm gonna cynically guess that it's gonna go to Women Talking for best screenplay, because I think the socially important adapted a screenplay nominee tends to win, right?
Hmm.
I don't know. You know, cut this out.
No, I mean it's interesting. It's interesting because She Shed didn't receive any nominations, and I feel like that's a very important film. I didn't see it.
I think it just wasn't really that good.
Yeah.
I heard it was kind of
what's-
boring, she said.
What's that movie?
What did she
It's
say?
about like an investigation into the Weinstein stuff.
Oh,
We don't need to talk about Weinstein 2 podcasts in a row.
no. I
Yeah.
already ranted about
Alright.
Halloween 6 in the last.
Cutting it out.
Yeah.
Cutting it out.
All right, so I mean, I guess if I'm voting with my heart, Top Gun Maverick, but I think cynically I'm voting Women Talking for best adapted screenplay, and that I might change that vote if I see Women Talking and think it's not as good as. But you know, I've heard good things about it, and I'm sure it's, you know, it could win.
Highway
Okay.
to the danger zone.
All right. Original screenplay: Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fablemans, Tar, or Triangle of Sadness.
Ooh, that's kind of hard.
Tor!
Okay, I'm surprised because what about Banshees for you, Colin? Aren't you like really big into that movie?
There's so many good movies that came out this year. I love Banshees. I love Everything Everywhere. Everything Everywhere is probably the most revolutionary screenplay, but just in terms of sheer quality, it's gonna go to Big Todd. You know what I mean? Big Todd with his big tall.
Okay, I'm kind of
I
torn.
mean, here's my take though: is that like I don't think I really said this on the previous episode, but like when I first saw Tar, I like respected it, but I thought I don't know if this is like my type of movie though, because it is a lot of people sitting down and talking.
Um, I think for me, I'm gonna agree a little bit with that. It's there's just a lot of talking that I wasn't a fan of. I wanted to see more of her
Like there were parts,
kind
there are
of being
parts
the
I like. I
monster.
like when she's being a bitch to that student. I
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that
yeah.
part. Like there's stuff like that, but I'm like thinking like
Destroys him.
Yeah,
I
like
will say like
eliminates the man.
Eliminates him.
Banshees of Inisherin. It's like this is like a great craft. This is a very well crafted story, and it's really funny and sad. Like I think
Yeah.
my vote is for Banshees.
I'm gonna go with the Fablemans for me, because that movie definitely moved me in a lot of ways too. It's
Hmm.
it's
For
a
sure, it did.
very personal, so I'll say that for original screenplay.
Hmm. I'm gonna skip live action short film and animated short film.
Yeah, because we probably haven't seen any of them.
Yeah.
We don't
Haven't
really
seen
give a
any.
I'm sure they're all great.
Actor in a supporting role. Okay. Brendan Gleeson in Banshees of Inisherin. Brian Tyree Henry in Causeway. I don't know what Causeway is. Do you guys know what Causeway is?
No.
The Jennifer Lawrence comeback movie, where she plays this veteran who has PTSD and cleans pools with Brian Tyree Henry.
Is it good?
I haven't seen it. I love Jennifer Lawrence. I absolutely love Brian Tyree Henry, but it's only available for streaming on Apple TV.
Okay. Okay, so we got Brendan Gleeson, Brian Tyree Henry, and then Judd Hirsch for The Fablemans, Barry Keoghan for Banshees, and Kiwi Kwan for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Uh, First, I just want to mention, big snub is not nominating Paul Dano for The Fablemans and
Yeah.
giving that to Judd Hirsch
Yeah.
instead.
I
Uh,
mean, look, Jed Hirsch was amazing in that. He was in what, for like two scenes.
One scene.
it was a wacky, goofy performance. You know, it
Hmm.
was like it was a good performance. It was impactful. It was an important scene, but
Yeah.
also like Paul Dano is
Right.
driving that movie. Uh, but much like how his character gets cucked, he gets cucked from an Oscar nomination.
He was also coached for the Riddler.
Yeah.
Like, he does a phenomenal job
That was
as
the
Batman.
gag. That was
Yeah.
the gag.
Yeah. But anyway, my prediction is Ki Kwan, just because I think it's a nice story. Him winning the Golden Globe, his speech was really sweet.
Hmm.
And
I'm
thanking
gonna second
Spielberg
that.
and
Even
the
though I haven't
Daniels.
seen it, I'm cheering for the guy.
Yeah, I'm happy for him.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm very
And
happy for him, too.
I have a feeling that the Academy voters might be happy for him too, and might because they like a story. You know, they like to. Would it
Yeah.
be nice to put this guy up because he's kind of an underdog? You know
You know
Yeah.
what my pick would be, though?
what?
Out of those five guys?
Who?
And it's because he's my quirky little guy, and I love him so much, and I love his character so much.
It's Barry.
It's Barry Keoghan in Banshees of Inisherin as Dominic. I loved that character so much. He's so precious to me, but he's not gonna win.
Okay, so what's your prediction? Is it
The kid from Temple of Doom.
okay?
Yeah.
So you're going with short round. Gotcha. All right,
Yeah.
not Ki Hee Hwan, but short round. That's his name. His name is Short Round. All right. Best original song. Applause from Tell It Like a Woman. What?
What?
Hold My Hand from Top Gun Maverick. Remember that? The one that Lady
Yup.
Gaga sings.
Hmm.
Lift Me Up from Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Not To from RRR. Fuck yeah. Uh, And This Is a Life from Everything Everywhere All at Once, which, by the way, is sung by David Byrne. So, shout out to my boy David Byrne.
I'm gonna go with RRR on this one.
You think so?
That was a kick-ass song. It's not gonna win, but that was a great song.
I mean, I feel like any other year, it would probably go to Hold My Hand, you know? It's a Lady Gaga ballad, it's this year's Shallows, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, has Lady Gaga won an Oscar yet?
Yeah, I just said Shallows from
she
A
won
Star
it
Is Born.
from that.
That was a big year.
I still haven't seen A Star Is Born.
It's okay.
Is that what
It's
checking
nice,
out?
yeah. The fact that Not To, which is a banger of a song, did win a Golden Globe, that is something for sure.
Okay.
And so that does now. I'm not entirely sure. I think it's a tight matchup between Hold My Hand and Not To, because like Not To is the pick the Academy would make if they decide to be cool this year.
But they're gonna do Hold My Hand.
Yeah, but if they decide to be boring, then it's Hold My Hand. So I'm not entirely sure. I think a more important prediction is, do they have the balls to have a live performance of Not To
Oh my god.
on the telecast?
That is the only reason I'd watch that.
Will they do it?
If they do it, I'll watch.
They've been kind of inconsistent with what song, because one year they did no song performances. Most years they do all the songs, but like lately they've been like, okay, we're only gonna do a few of the songs, you know. So that's a tough one. I hope that Not To gets a live performance. That'd be really fun to see like a big Tollywood dance number in the Dolby theater or whatever it's called. That'd be amazing.
Hell yeah.
Okay, let's move on to, I don't really know. Do you guys know any of the documentary feature films? All That Bleeds, All the Bleeding, Bloodshed, Fire of Love?
There was one that got a major snub in this category.
Which one?
Moon Age Daydream was a beautiful, evocative,
repetitive,
palpable, perhaps
uninformative.
It was such a sensory experience.
It was just a clip show of cool David Bowie moments.
No, it was so much fun.
You don't learn anything from it. You don't learn anything from it.
And it was a glimpse into David Bowie's hodgepodge philosophy. Okay. I was seeing life through David Bowie's eyes.
But they totally skip over late Bowie. They just they skip over entire chunks of his career. It's just the director's favorite parts of his career.
It's not supposed to be informative. It's supposed to be a sensory experience. And that's what it did for me. It made me feel his music on a deep level. It made me understand the man.
Yeah, but also beautiful. It's a documentary, not a roller coaster. Documentaries have a little bit of a responsibility to educate a little bit.
Not necessarily.
You know?
Documentaries can be whatever you want.
But they can they're supposed to be as a depiction of reality.
Yeah. It should
their
be
whole purpose is to
it should be more educational, a more entertaining way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So. I disagree personally. But anyway, yeah, we haven't seen any of these films.
We're skipping documentary short film. There's no way any of us have seen documentary short film. And now we have and I don't mean this to sound bigoted, but this year's nominees for international feature film are incredibly boring.
Do they have Decision to Leave in there?
Yeah, Decision to Leave is not in there.
Bullshit.
It's not in there.
I don't like cursing on air, but that's fucking bullshit.
Okay, the nominees are All Quiet on the Western Front, Argentina 1985, Close, EO, and Quiet Girl. RRR is not on there either.
Fuck off.
Fuck off.
Dude, that movie kicked ass.
Moving along. This one's a tough one, actually. This one is actually these are all good ones. It's for animated feature film.
Oh, God.
Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. One of my favorite films of the year, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Really good. Everyone should see it. Ian, you might be happy to see this get a nomination.
What?
The Sea Beast.
The Sea Beast? What's that? I never saw it.
Oh, I thought it's that Netflix animated movie with the kaijus.
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't see it.
Oh, I thought you did.
No, I didn't.
You'd like it. You would like it. You'd like it. It's got
Netflix,
big sea monsters. Yeah, it's on Netflix. It's got big sea monsters. I think you'd like it.
Okay, cool.
And then Turning Red.
Boo.
All right, so this is actually like a crazy year because usually it's obvious that it's gonna go to Disney Pixar, but this year it's like, I mean, shit. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio and like Puss in Boots: The Last Wish are undeniably better than Turning Red,
Of
and it's
course.
like, as much as I love Marcel the Shell Chouzon, that's like my favorite movie of last year, or at least one of them. Uh, like it's a little too hipster for the Oscars.
I'm gonna say that Pinocchio is gonna win.
You gonna go with Pinocchio? How about you, Carl?
I haven't seen Pinocchio yet, but I've been told it's an indictment on fascism. I feel like America needs that these days.
Yeah, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio is a great indictment on fascism, and also it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It's like perfect because like Guillermo is known for his character designs, and it's just
Yes.
like, just imagine putting that in a stop motion environment. It is so gorgeous, and it's so lovingly, carefully done, and you can tell that like Guillermo del Toro has so much respect for his audience. He didn't just make a stupid kids movie, you know.
Like Zemeckis did with his Pinocchio.
He's been campaigning really hard to get people to respect animation as a medium and not a genre.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because it's amazing. Animation's like beautiful and should be its own thing, you know.
If we could get any film bro on this podcast, I would want it to be Guillermo. Not because
Oh,
he's my
hell
favorite
yeah.
filmmaker, but he just has such a beautiful, palpable passion for film. He just loves talking about it. His eyes light up. I think he's just a wonderful human being to be around.
We should get him on the pod. We should contact him.
That's what I'm saying. Let's get him on the pod.
Let's get him on the pod.
Also, like something that Colin, before you came on, I was telling Ross that like The Shape of Water is in my top 15.
Yeah.
So such a beautiful fucking movie.
I still gotta see
Yeah.
that one.
So, are we all unanimously agreeing that it's gonna go to Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right, cool. Funny that like they include his name in the title because it came out the same year as the Disney Pinocchio.
And another Pinocchio. There was 3 Pinocchios that came out in 1 year.
Father, how can I go on my own?
All right, so moving along to makeup and hairstyling. All Quiet on the Western Front, The Batman, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, Elvis, and The Whale.
The Batman.
Yeah, Batman.
You fool! For makeup and hairstyling, you're picking Batman?
Yes.
For
Yes.
Oh wait, I forgot about the Penguin.
Yeah,
Yes!
like what the hell are you talking about?
I was thinking about the Whale because of like the fat suit.
No.
No.
I was like thinking in my head, no one was transformed in the Batman. Oh wait a minute.
His transformation was so good that you didn't even think about it.
Yeah,
All right, then yeah, it kind of has to go to the Batman. Yeah,
the Batman. Unanimous.
the Batman.
Definitely
All
not
right.
Wakanda Forever, because Angela Bassett's wig in Wakanda Forever is terrible. Her wig is
All
just
right.
so
All
bad.
right, let's move on.
All right, production design. All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar: The Way of Water, Babylon, Elvis, The Fabelmans.
That's kind of trippy. You know, I want to say Elvis, but I think my personal pick is going to go to the Fablemans.
I'm gonna say Babylon.
I'm gonna second you on that, Ross.
Babylon is like production design the movie. Like every scene just kind of exists to show the setting off. You
Yeah.
know?
It's very
Like, it's just-
pristine.
Like it's just shot in a way that's just like, look at this fucking thing we did. Fuck yeah, look at all this money we're spending on this orgy setting.
And not getting
You know?
back.
And yeah, just like the way they recreated like silent movie sets and the way they recreated that entire set from that old musical that Singing in the Rain was originally from. Like that was really cool with the big Noah's Ark painting. That was really impressive. They recreated all that. Okay, moving along to film editing. Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Tar, and Top Gun Maverick.
Top Gun.
Everything everywhere.
Everything Everywhere All at Once is really impressive. Also, mad props. That movie is edited in an Adobe Premiere.
No
Cool.
shit.
Yeah,
Nice.
because the Daniels are like, their origins are like DIY filmmakers. That's what they use, so it makes sense, you know.
Top
Yeah.
Gun.
I'm gonna say Top Gun Maverick, because that is like, there was like they shot over like I forget the number. It was a crazy amount of footage though that they shot. It was like 800 hours of footage or something like that for just the
Jesus.
plane stuff.
Wow.
Because the way they shot it was like the
Like,
director like talked to everyone on the ground about what needs to get done,
mm-hmm,
right? And then they all went up in the planes and just did it.
mm-hmm.
So they all have these cameras. Basically, the actors are pressing record on the cameras
Yeah, there's
themselves.
like a shit ton of them right in the cockpit.
They're just all flying at the same time and just doing their thing in the
I
And
just
the
think for
planes.
Top Gun, it was something that not even just because, oh, I was on the edge of my seat. It was the fact that they were able to really make me feel like I'm in that jet regardless and cutting in between
yeah.
all of them.
And not just the like the medium close-ups of the
Yeah, no,
actors
no,
in the
no.
cockpit. Not just
Oh
that,
no.
but just like the side
Yeah,
views.
yeah.
Yeah,
The side
like
views, like Ross was saying, yeah.
they got so much coverage
Mm-hmm.
for a movie that uses fighter jets. It's
Yes,
really impressive, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of coverage, and they use it really well.
it's beautiful.
All right, moving along. Cinematography. I think there's some big snubs on this one. All Quiet on the Western Front, Bardo, Elvis, Empire of Light, Tar.
What is with All Quiet on the Western Front? What is this movie? Why is it in every category?
It's a remake of the old movie that also won an Oscar.
It makes so much sense that old people like this movie.
I'm gonna say this: what got snubbed, or the two that got snubbed, the Batman
Yes.
and Top Gun.
For sure.
Yeah.
And also, where's Nope?
Oh, Nope was completely snubbed entirely. Nope is in no categories.
Nope invented a whole new way to shoot night scenes. And it's just not there? What the fuck? Also, Babylon?
Yeah, that has some very pretty shots. It's true.
So, I don't know. I don't know what the best cinematography
I'm saying the
could be.
Batman and Top Gun, even though they're not on there, fuck off.
You're gonna... Okay, sure. I don't know. Tar looked good.
Todd did look good.
All right, let's support our boy Todd.
Yes.
I'll say Tar.
He's not the cinematographer.
I don't give a
Florian
shit.
Hoffmeister. All right, whatever. Okay. Visual effects. All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar: The Way of Water, The Batman, Black Panther, Top Gun.
Ooh, this is rough for me.
Probably Avatar, right?
Yeah, it's going to Avatar. Don't be
It's gonna go
stupid.
to Avatar.
It's going to Avatar.
That was like 14 years in the making.
well, of course it's going to Avatar, but like my personal pick is
Don't you say
probably
Maverick. Don't you say Maverick.
the Batman.
Okay.
Okay.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Top Gun was great,
Yeah.
but I don't really feel like the VFX or like the CGI was good. So
What do they call that thing with the Unreal Engine and they have the screens behind them instead of green screens?
oh, the some light shit. I can't remember what it exactly is, but
Which-
that was like the Batman like overload.
Like that's like the best use of it.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I'll say with any CGI, the two best CGI movies I saw this year, obviously Avatar's up there, but I really enjoyed how the Batman looked, even if it didn't look completely real, just in the style and the setting and the atmosphere of how they made it. It really feels like the world.
It
And
feels
even
like
though,
you're in Gotham, yeah.
yeah, but even
Yeah.
though with Avatar, obviously the motion capture is amazing. All the CGI in it is beautiful. Doesn't look like a computer, but I think personally, for me, I'm going to give it to the Batman.
All right. It's going to Avatar though.
I know it is.
Yeah. There's no way.
Okay, I have a quick side note.
Mhm.
Should Avatar have been nominated for Best Animated?
It should have been best animated movie.
Yeah.
Is Avatar an animated film? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really what it is. There's live
It's- yeah.
action things in there, but like 90% of that movie is CGI.
Performance capture isn't that different from rotoscoping. I don't see. Yeah,
I don't see the difference personally,
Yeah.
but with something,
It's
they're gonna say like, "Oh my god!" Da, da, da.
it's animation
Mhm.
where they heavily reference the performance of actors.
I just know Big Jim wouldn't be happy. if it was nominated for animated.
I know.
And I like seeing Big Jim happy.
I know, but all right, let's move on. I don't want to argue about this.
All right. Okay. Actor in a leading role. Austin Butler for Elvis, Colin Farrell for Banshees, Brendan Fraser for The Whale, Paul Mescal for Aftersun, and Bill Nighy for Living.
Brendan Fraser.
I don't think The Whale is a good movie, but Brendan Fraser's performance brought me to tears.
Yes.
So being able to give that great of a performance in that cliche and contrived of a film is incredibly impressive. So I give it to Brendan Fraser.
Okay, but don't you want to see Austin Butler go on stage and say, "Thank you very much"?
You see, no. I just want Brendan he's got a huge comeback right now. I've loved the guy.
Yeah.
Even if he's in a shitty movie, he's the best part of it. I have loved him since I was a kid when I saw The Mummy. And just everything he's in, I love.
I haven't seen The Whale yet. I'm sure he is really good in it. But don't you think there is some to the fact that ever since Austin Butler played Elvis, he can't stop doing the Elvis voice?
Can't stop doing the Elvis voice.
He's just always... that's just how he talks now.
It's a part of him now.
His voice has been permanently changed.
Exactly.
It was so surreal at the Golden Globes.
I know.
When he's like, "Oh, thank you, Mama, so much. We're up there." And like, what the fuck is going on?
Thank you, Mama. Want to just thank my mother right there.
That was so weird.
My sweet prince.
Anyway, it'll probably go to Brendan Fraser. You're right, but
Yeah.
I kind of want to see Austin Butler's acceptance speech just because he's just Elvis now. It's just funny to me.
All right, moving on.
Cate Blanchett for Tar, Ana de Armas for Blonde, Andrea Riseborough for To Leslie, Michelle Williams for The Fabelmans, leading. That's kind of interesting. And Michelle Yeoh for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Going to Tar, Cate Blanchett.
Cate Blanchett, man, that performance was incredible.
Yeah, probably. Side note, do you know about the whole To Leslie, Andrea Riseborough thing?
No.
So basically, To Leslie is like this super low budget, well, not super low budget. It's a Sundance movie, and they didn't have the funding to campaign for the Oscars, and so they just campaigned really hard on social media, and it kind of became a meme. Mark Maron, who's in the movie, he gave a shout out to Leslie at the end of an episode of his podcast. He said directly to the Academy voters, "Hey, and all you Academy voters, watch To Leslie." They just pushed really, really hard for this movie no one's ever heard of to get a nomination, and they did it, and I'm happy for them.
All right.
I don't know if it's a good movie or a bad movie, but
Cool.
this is
Good
a win
for
for the
them.
little guy.
Yeah, good for them, man.
Andrea Riseborough gets an Oscar nomination. She gets to show up on the red carpet, even though no one has seen her movie. Good for her.
Yeah, kick ass, man. Kick ass.
Okay.
And in case no one knows who Andrea Riseborough is, she's the lady from Mandy.
Oh, is she?
Yes.
She's Mandy?
Yeah,
That's her
she's
name.
Mandy.
That's the name of the character. She's Mandy.
Yeah, that's her name. Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
I am positive. I just checked it on Letterboxd.
Oh, cool. Okay. All right. Nominees for directing. We're
Yeah.
getting closer to the big one.
All right.
Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fabelmans, Tar, Triangle of Sadness.
I'm kind of torn.
Tall.
You know what? I'm gonna say our boy Todd. Yeah, I thought that was seeing
Yep.
that and having and even listening to him how he made it. I honestly, yeah, that's just beautiful. I was gonna say I think my second is Spielberg, so I just obviously, but still, we're gonna give it to our
Yeah.
boy Todd. Todd,
Yeah,
if you're
I'm,
listening,
This is tough because I'm thinking
We love you,
spoiler.
Todd.
My prediction for Best Picture is The Fabelmans, right? So I'm well, it can't win Best Picture, but not anything else, right? So it's probably got to win directing also, right?
I mean, the directing is pretty impeccable in that
Yeah.
movie. Just
It's
how...
Steven fucking Spielberg at his peak.
he's the master.
It's not, and this
Yeah.
isn't
Yeah.
this isn't Ready Player One Spielberg. This
No.
is
This is Spielberg at his most personal. This is Spielberg bearing his soul for the audience to see.
recreating his home life.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
just say for me, it's a I go back and forth, but I'm gonna say Todd or Spielberg. That's what I'll say.
I'm going Spielberg. All right. And then we made it to Best Picture. Here are
Woo!
the nominees: All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar: The Way of the Water, Banshees of Inisherin,
The way of the water.
Elvis,
The
The
way
way
of the
of the
water.
water.
The Way of the Water,
Do you know the way?
um, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fablemans, Tar, Top Gun, Triangle of Sadness, Women Talking.
Top Gun.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going with Top Gun, man.
I mean, if we're gonna like,
Wow.
it did single-handedly save the movie
Yeah,
business.
pretty much.
Like it kind of.
I guess that is pretty
Yeah,
big.
that
That
is
is a
that is
pretty
kind
big
of.
move.
And I'm gonna say this that I think The Fablemans was like my second favorite movie of last year because it was super personal to me as well. But I think watching Top Gun Maverick in the theater with my friends, it was a packed theater too. I mean, it was explosive in there, and it was a lot of fun. Um, and I don't know, action, drama, it just worked, man. It made over what, like
Hmm.
1.4 billion. That's another thing too. That was so surprising.
Not bad,
And
not
also,
bad.
like, it's not unheard of for a plane movie to win Best Picture because
Oh, did Flight win?
no, the very first Oscar for Best Picture, Wings from
Oh yeah.
1927. Ah, I'm a smart boy. I'm a smart
Ah.
boy.
But
Um,
I will say that this Top Gun Maverick, it is a masterpiece, and I know I've said it so many times with these nominations because I legit think it's somewhere in like my top 10.
Top Gun is definitely winning editing for sure.
I do think though that realistically, it'll probably go to the Fablemans.
I mean, has Spielberg gotten an Oscar yet?
Yeah, he got it for Schindler's List for
Good,
Best Picture and
good.
Best Director.
And then
Okay.
anything else?
I think he's been nominated a bunch of times.
Let me see. Wait,
Look it up real quick.
Spielberg Oscar wins.
On a side note, I do think Thor is the best movie of this year,
Okay.
and so that's what my pick is.
He did win for Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, we did.
Yeah, I think
Okay,
so.
cool.
Um,
Okay.
That was
so
another
there's
great
that.
flick.
That's another
Yeah.
like one of those huge movies that I haven't seen yet that I'm just
Oh,
like I can't.
God.
It's just a can that I'm kicking, and I'm like, one of these days I'll get around to Saving Private Ryan.
I think I have it on DVD.
I'm predicting The Fablemans, not just because I think it's the most obvious thing that the Academy would pick, but also because it is definitely one of my favorite movies of the year. Like it's my favorite out of this list. Like if I had to pick one that I'm like I want to rewatch that right now, I'd probably pick The Fablemans. So yeah, that's all the nominations. How much time did we spend on this?
50 minutes. Who wants to start with Skinamarink? Actually, could I start Skinamarink? I'm more of the horror enthusiast on this.
Of course,
Go ahead.
and it's freshest in your mind too because you just watched it last night.
Yeah.
So what's Skinamarink?
So Skinamarink is about two kids who are at home, wake up in the middle of the night, and their father is missing. But soon enough, as the night goes on, things in the house begin to disappear, and something far scarier comes afoot. I'm going to say this that it didn't need to be 100 minutes. It could have been shorter, but I am going to say when it picks up and it starts getting freaky, I was terrified. It was one of these weird movies that I was like, oh, you know what, whatever. It looks like a found footage, but it isn't. And it's something where, and I don't know if you guys feel this way. I've seen it a lot in reviews, but when I was a kid and even being an adult, I've had these types of nightmares. There's been like these, like when you're up so late at night, your mind just starts playing tricks on you. Like I was at a sleepover years ago and we just stayed up super late. And eventually my friends fell asleep, but I was still up. And I remember just my mind playing tricks on me through the whole time I was awake. And it was scary as fuck to see like this. There was like a torn out from the inside German Shepherd, these shadows moving all over the walls and shit. And it reminded me of that moment. And I just think with how it's edited and put together, it's definitely, and I get that they had to do it this way for it to be with the vision, but it really could have been, I want to say like 80 minutes at the most. But I will say this too, that I knew nothing about the movie. I just knew the poster and the title. I heard, like, oh my God, this is a freaky movie. I mean, you guys told me, like, oh my gosh, it's like creepy, spooky, scary. And I was like, yeah, you know what? It might be.
Oh, you thought we were sissies, Ian.
Yeah, I did because
You thought we were sissies.
No, I'm pretty brave with horror movies. So nothing really, because I know everything's fake. So it's
but
like,
you know,
that ain't
the thing that
scary.
Yeah.
also reminded me, or the movie that reminded me the most of, was like Eraserhead.
That's what I was just about to say. Is that like this movie genuinely feels like a nightmare, and like the only other movie I can think of that feels like that is Eraserhead.
But what's so interesting about this film is that the director Kyle Edward Bell got his start with a YouTube channel dedicated to filming people's nightmares.
Really?
He solicited submissions from viewers, just saying, like, comment about what your biggest nightmare is, tell me about it, and I'll make a short film out of it. And interestingly enough, so many people kept on submitting a nightmare where there was just a kid stuck in this house with their parents not around. And it kept on getting more and more submissions with the same idea because everyone has had this nightmare. And so he was eventually just like, I'll make this into a film.
And also, I feel like I don't think we're gonna spoil. But like the last shot of the movie is straight out of
Yes.
my nightmares.
Yes.
I had to look
feel
away at
like
a
that.
point. I was just like, oh,
Yeah.
fuck that, And this is what I also love about horror, how it's so diverse in the stories that you can do. And this is something that reminded me a lot of Slender Man, especially with that specific jump scare that happens. I won't ruin.
Oh, that's one spooky jump scare.
Yeah, when that happened, I jumped out of my chair.
No, there were two spooky jump scares.
No, there were three. There was three that's just like it's like an electrical
Mhm.
malfunction, and then there's that one, and then there's the one that's kind of cheap.
Yeah, the
at
one
the
that was
end.
like cheap at the end, I wasn't a fan of, but like the second one, I was like, fuck that shit, man. What the hell's going on?
That one was impeccable.
Yeah.
That was an impeccable jump scare. That made me scream and jump out of my seat.
Yeah. No, yeah. Me and Colin saw it in the theater together. We were all on the theater. We were the only ones in there, which is kind of the ideal way to watch it because you're distraction free, and if you get scared, you got a buddy to talk to.
I was with my brother the whole time.
Yeah.
The two of us, we were just like, this is gonna be creepy. The two of us by the end, we were just like, no. I couldn't sleep until like 3 in the morning.
We were very shook. Also, I want to mention a few things about the way it's shot is really interesting because it's like you pretty much never see the characters' faces, and when you do see a face, it's a scary face.
May I read a quote from Kyle Edward Bell,
Surely.
the guy who directed the movie?
Surely.
So he said, I set rules in place that I wasn't allowed to break. We never see someone's face. We avoid showing people on screen for too long. Whatever dialogue is delivered is always delivered off screen. We never go outside. We never leave the house. We're always in the house. Even if at the beginning you see windows and doors in the house, the blinds are always shut. So we never get a view of the outside world.
These are such like absurd rules. How
They
did he come up
truly
with
are.
these rules about like no dialogue on screen, only off screen dialogue?
Yeah, and that's
Like,
not even the end.
why?
There's also no music in the movie. I set these rules in place.
There is music in the movie.
No, that's from the VHS.
Yeah,
That was
that's from like
diegetic music.
the fucking cartoon. So that doesn't.
But that is still music. But like no non-diegetic
Yes.
music. But wait, isn't there a musical moment at the end?
But fellas, wait.
Anyway,
He goes on
Okay.
to explain why he has these rules.
Okay, continue.
So he says, I set these rules in place before I even got the script going, just so that I would have a foundation to build on. Once I started writing, because I had these rules in place, I actually found it freeing to be working within a said framework.
that is kind of true with every kind of film. Is like every film has limits, and so you got to work with those limits. Unless you're James Cameron.
Yes.
Oh, I want to mention the graininess of it real quick.
I love it.
Because I thought, I'm not entirely sure, like, are they going for like a
Yes.
VHS look,
Yeah, that
I
was the
guess?
I
point.
believe so.
Because
Yes.
at times it also kind of looked like 8mm
So cool.
film. Because like it had the scratches. I was kind of thinking about how like the graininess really kind of emulated the feeling of being in the dark and you're seeing things that aren't there. Because when you're looking at random static and you're staring at it like into the darkness at a point in the movie, you feel like you see something, but it's not there. Because you're just seeing patterns in the static void that your brain's
That's
making up.
exactly what it was like. Really, my experience with that sleepover I had years ago, like when I was watching it. Yeah, that's literally what happens. It's just your brain when even you just look at the dark, it just your imagination goes completely off the rails.
It takes place in the director's childhood home.
Mm-hmm.
And all the toys that are used in the film were actually
Toys
toys
from
that
him.
his sister and him had.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's very personal.
Yeah,
Very personal film.
Nice.
and even with
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys did this or anything like when you guys started making movies, but when I was like in high school, I got this cheap ass camcorder and I tried just sort of making creepy shots and putting it together. So when I was watching this, I was like, I kind of did this too. That's kind of cool. Good for this guy. He was able to do this, for 15K.
That's kind of
So
fun.
yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, and the fact that how the hell did this get a theatrical release
I
is
think
beyond me.
because
And I'm
I think
glad it
because
It's
did.
got
Shudder.
big backers. IFC Films.
Shudder.
Shudder.
Yeah, I think it was
Yeah.
Shudder that basically said we want to put this in the theater. And also just I know I've talked about it the most, but I have one other thing to talk about with Skinamarink is when a movie like this, it feels like it's gonna have a Blair Witch effect a little bit. Um,
It already
yeah,
kind of
it's
does.
just something that like I hope it doesn't get into. I mean, it probably will get into parody, but at the same time, yeah, I just think it captures the feel of a nightmare. The jump scares aren't like the cheap ass jump scares, even the last one, but at the same time, dude, it's something that shook me to the core, which is that's just surprising because I've seen probably every horror movie under the sun, and most of them are like, yeah, that's a little scary, but this was like, fuck me, like,
Yeah. Like the primary reason that Ross and I got through our screening of it is because we were talking to each other and we were trying to make jokes about the movie.
That's what I did too.
My favorite bit was like during a quiet part of the movie, I was like, hey, I can do Foley for this movie too, look. Because like there's all these weird little tapping sounds and stuff in the
And
movie.
then I started doing Foley too. And then he was like, wait, is that part of the film or are you doing that? And I'm like, yeah, I'm doing that. Ooh,
Spooky shit.
What's so impressive about this film, though, is that it made 100 times its budget.
How much has it made?
It's made $1.5 million.
Oh,
And it was only released
Damn.
11 days ago.
that's like
That's incredibly impressive.
that's like high in
Yeah.
the most successful independent movies. Is this technically independent?
It has to be. Oh, totally.
It is an independent movie, yeah.
Totally is.
Okay.
This is the definition of
Yeah.
an independent movie.
Yeah.
So
Alright.
yeah, they just got picked up by Shudder, and then Shudder. Is this the first time Shudder's done like a
I feel like they've
theatrical
done it before.
distribution?
I
Yeah.
don't know what, but maybe Mandy, right?
That's not. No, I think Mandy got bought by Shudder after the fact. It got
Okay.
like after its
I still haven't
main
seen
release,
Mandy.
so I'm not. You haven't seen Mandy?
Dude, that's the most Ian Baker movie I have seen under the sun. That movie was custom
That's like
made.
yeah.
Is it on Shudder?
It's got everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it
so I'm
is,
gonna
yeah.
have to watch that.
All right.
It's got Nicky Cage. It's got a fucking chainsaw fight. It's got everything that you would want, Ian. It's got satanic cults. It's got a really cool tiger in it that looks prehistoric. You would
Stop
love
talking
it.
about it. I want to watch it for myself.
I know. I don't even need to pitch it anymore. It's a movie made for you.
I just know there's like that. There's an image. The only image I've seen from it, because I've deliberately, since it's been out, I just don't look at anything for it, is this image of Nick Cage looking at the camera with blood everywhere on his face with a hot light on him. And I was just like,
He's like in
yeah.
a big room and he has
And
like
I
a
was
tiger
just like,
shirt on. Yeah.
what the
That's a
fuck
great
is
scene.
this?
Any final thoughts on Mandy? I mean Skinamarink.
So I'm gonna say this. It isn't the scariest film I've ever seen, but it's definitely in the top 10.
So what is the scariest movie you've ever seen?
The original Nosferatu.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, does it still scare you?
Yeah, it still
Like,
gives me the creeps if I'm watching it alone at night. Yeah.
But
I don't know. I just kind of, I don't know. It doesn't
Okay, well,
like.
Exorcist is number 2. How do you feel about that?
that works. That works.
I was like, if I were in the 1920s, Nosferatu would be the scariest movie.
But
to me.
Nosferatu was on
Like-
SpongeBob.
I don't care. It scared the shit out of me. Bite me.
My final thoughts on this film is that it was just incredibly inspiring as a low-budget filmmaker and as a producer to see a movie that was shot for $15,000 in only 7 days
God damn.
made $1.5 million
God
in
damn.
less than 2 weeks. That is just very
That's a miracle.
inspirational. This
Yeah.
guy. It's not a miracle though, because it makes total sense when you watch this film. It's a film that I feel like everyone should see.
Yeah, I agree. I also think like everyone should see this. This is
Yeah,
our
it-
Blair
it's our
Witch. Like this is
generation's
the
Blair
movie.
Witch.
To see like
Yeah.
there's nothing. I don't think there's been anything quite like this
No.
movie.
Like in the
before.
past, what was it, like 20-something years since Blair Witch was in 99, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah, since then, yeah, no. There's been some, you know,
Yeah.
people who are like, oh, I could make that, blah, 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 but they ended up making a bunch of shit. So,
I'm curious to see like if there are any copycats of Skinamarink.
I hope and pray that there's not going to be an SNL skit parody.
there's gonna be, you know, it's gonna happen. They're
I
gonna get
pray
that lazy.
to God above that that's not going to happen.
I'm gonna wager that if they do a Skinamarink parody, there's also gonna be like TikTokers in the parody, because they like to get very unfocused with the
Yes.
zeitgeist.
They do a lot of how do you do fellow kids type of things in those skits these days.
They just try to cover everything and then they just kind of
Yeah.
fumble.
All right, so rating from 1 to 5.
5.
Ross?
I'm trying. I feel like we've been giving out too many 5s.
Because we've seen a lot of great movies.
I guess, but it's like it's so early in the podcast. I don't know. I'm gonna play it safe and say I'm gonna go with 4.5.
I'm gonna give it a 4. I just feel like my one complaint is that it did not have to be 100 minutes long.
Oh, I do have a complaint actually. I just remembered something. Because I was thinking like this whole movie is very dreamlike, except for the jump scares. Because usually in a dream, if there's a jump scare, I wake up from the dream and it's over. And like the jump scares like felt kind of like jump scares in general just kind of feel cheap because there's already so much stuff that's scary without a jump scare. You know, like if they're gonna do a jump scare, they should have just put it all the way at the end. That would have been impressive. But just because like film Twitter lied to me. Film Twitter told me that this is a movie that doesn't rely on jump scares. It totally relies on jump scares.
Not total reliance. Like it's not the lifeline for the movie.
It definitely structures itself around jump scares because it's like obviously, if you have 10 minutes of quiet and then all of a sudden the speakers go, brrr, you're going to be startled, you know? So that's just like, that felt a little. And like, there's like, that third jump scare was like, okay, you just startled me for something that's
Yeah,
basically
I
a
mean,
meme.
my
Like,
my thing is I didn't mind them. The last one I had a bit of an issue with, but I think all in all, um, they work. It's something that I feel like this is a movie with jump scares that worked
they did
Yes.
work. I
because
will give them
there's so
that.
many movies that have jump scares that just don't fucking work. You can just see them a mile away.
These jump scares, you do kind of feel
Yeah,
like you're about to
Yes.
die.
it's something
Yeah, but
where
I had to calm myself down after these jump scares. Like my heart was beating as fast as when I first saw the jump scare for like 2 minutes afterwards.
Every time there was a jump scare, I
yeah.
was like, oh, fuck
Oh,
this
That's
yeah.
what
movie.
I kept saying too. I was just
Yeah,
like,
like,
"Fuck you, movie! Come on!"
Yeah, if I had blood pressure problems, this movie would really fuck me up. I would not show this movie to an older person.
Well, thankfully, I don't have heart problems. My family has a history of heart problems, so
So, Ian, this is not a movie that you should not watch for the rest of your life. You should cap it at 50. No more Skinamarink after 50.
I don't think Skinamarink would be scary upon second
no,
watching.
the first time
I
you
don't
watch
think.
it, it's
I think
scary, but then the next time, it's sort of like, okay, that's a little creepy to look at, but like it's not gonna freak you out.
Yeah, I feel like most horror movies are the most scary
Yeah.
the first time you see it.
If it's a good horror movie, though, it becomes hypnotic. Like, I can watch The Shining any day of the week just because there's such a powerful atmosphere there that I just, yeah.
There's an artistry to it. Yeah.
I'm gonna say that the one movie that consistently frightens me, even if I see one scene from it, is, and it, honestly, I'll just say probably The Exorcist is the scariest film I've ever seen. It's just something that anytime I see a scene from that, even though I know what's gonna happen, I'm just like, oh, this is giving me the creeps. I can't look at this shit.
What I love so much about The Exorcist 2 is that, like, it's a horror movie, but spoiler alert, good wins at the end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's so many horror movies where it's just like, the world's a terrible place and we're all going to hell.
Or, it has
yada,
the,
yada, yada.
the scare at the end where it's just
The
like,
scare at the end where the
"Whoa."
monster comes back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, this is a movie that's saying we can overcome the evils of this world.
And then with
Even though it's
Skinamarink,
the scariest movie of all
Skinamarink,
time.
you're stuck in the
Yeah.
void.
Just stuck in the void. Yeah.
Besides Skinamarink, what is like one of the scariest movies for me is this one's kind of a weird one, but have you ever seen Nocturnal Animals?
Oh yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah. That scared you?
No, it's that one scene towards the beginning that really puts you on edge.
Oh yeah, I know the scene you're talking about. That was well done.
It just goes so hard that you're feeling that impact for the rest of the movie, even though nothing worse than that happens.
Aaron Tyler Johnson remains underrated. And that movie was back in freaking 2016.
Yeah.
That guy's a phenomenal actor.
Incredibly unsettling movie,
Yes.
Nocturnal Animals.
But before we go, we just want to say please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're watching this on YouTube so that you can receive updates on all of our projects. We're also available on 10 different streaming platforms. Is that right, Ross? Hold the phone.
That's right, Colin. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Amazon Music, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Player FM, Listen Notes, Podchaser, and Boomplay.
That's terrific.
I love Boomplay.
And so, yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to this week's episode. It's a heftier one because those Oscar nominations took a long time. But I think people who listen to podcasts like long podcasts. They don't want no 30-minute podcast. They got a lot of driving to do. They got a lot of dishes to wash.
They got shit to do.
They're stuck in
They're
LA
stuck in
traffic.
LA traffic. They need
They gotta-
something to listen to.
We're not from LA.
We're actually from the opposite of LA.
New Jersey.
New Jersey, baby.
New Jersey. The next Hollywood.
The next Hollywood, baby.
Yeah, baby, let's do it.
Did you know that Joker was shot in New Jersey?
What?
Did you know that the Many Saints of Newark was shot in New Jersey?
It's almost like Newark is in New Jersey.
Did you know that the new M. Night Shyamalan film, Knock at the Cabin, is shot in New Jersey?
It's happening,
Did
baby.
you know that?
It's happening.
It's happening, baby.
There will come a day when we will not be remembered for being Kevin Smith's home state. And on that day, I will smile.
Please, God.
Spielberg was born in New Jersey.
He's an Arizona guy, though. Like, he was here for, 4 years. He's... All due respect.
First 4 years.
All due respect to Steven Spielberg, who I love very much. He's no Jersey boy. Thank you all so much for listening. We love all of you, and we hope you tune in next week.
Live long and prosper.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.